Welcome back to the deep dive, everybody. You know, it's amazing when you think about it. Just the sheer number of different animals out there. Millions of species, each with their own quirks and traits.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we like to think we have a handle on the natural world, but the more you look, the more you realize just how much there is that's mind-blowing. Today, we're going to dive into some of those totally unbelievable animal abilities.
That's right. We're talking stuff that'll make you laugh, maybe make you cringe, and definitely make you think, wait, what?
Exactly. And for this one, we're drawing on some really interesting information from BBC Bitesize, IFL Science, and Interesting Facts. Should be a fun ride.
It really should. So, for all of you listening out there, our mission today is to give you a quick but thorough rundown of these incredible animal talents.
We want to spark those aha moments without overloading you with too much information.
Exactly. So buckle up and get ready to be amazed. Let's start with an animal that's practically synonymous with taking it slow, the sloth.
The sloth. The embodiment of a relaxed lifestyle, right? When you picture a sloth, you probably imagine it hanging upside down, just chilling out in a tree, meticulously conserving every ounce of energy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're the slowest mammals on Earth.
They are indeed. But here's where things get really interesting. These masters of chill have a secret talent.
Oh, tell me more.
They're surprisingly good swimmers.
Swimmers? Really?
Yeah, and get this, they can move 3 times faster in water than they can on land.
No way. That's incredible. Who knew that just by looking at them?
It really is a stark contrast to their leisurely pace on land.
So why are they so buoyant? Is it something to do with their lifestyle?
Well, it's primarily because of their diet, actually. All those leaves they munch on produce a lot of gas in their stomachs, which basically acts as a built-in flotation device.
A leafy life raft. I love it. But hold on, it gets even more surprising.
Oh, lay it on me.
Sloths can hold their breath underwater for, get this, up to 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Wow, that's quite a while. I don't think I could do half of that.
Me neither. Think about it. That's longer than most of us can hold our breath.
It's a remarkable feat, especially given their already slow-paced life.
So how do they do it?
Well, they can actually slow down their already slow metabolism even further, and their heart rate can drop to less than a third of its normal rate.
It's like they're taking energy conservation to a whole new level.
They really are. IFL Science points out it can take them an entire month to digest a single leaf.
A whole month? That's wild. Their digestive system must be moving at a glacial pace.
You could say that?
And, you know, Interesting Facts mentions some estimates suggesting two-toed sloths can hold their breath for even longer than 40 minutes.
Really? Even longer?
Yeah, it's crazy. And get this, the way their lungs are designed actually helps their breathing technique, which makes them surprisingly good swimmers.
It all ties together, doesn't it? The slow metabolism, the lung structure, the buoyancy from their diet. It's like they're perfectly adapted for this unexpected skill.
I know, it's pretty amazing. But while we're on the topic of sloths surprising us, IFL Science mentions something else you might not believe.
What's that?
They're apparently 3 times stronger than the average person.
3 times stronger. Seriously. Those laid-back creatures.
Yep, it's true. The animal kingdom is full of these unexpected twists.
It really is. Speaking of unexpected twists, let's switch gears completely and talk about something most of us learned about in school. The butterfly life cycle.
Right. Caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. Seems pretty straightforward.
On the surface, yes. We see this beautiful transformation from a crawling caterpillar to a winged beauty. But what happens inside that chrysalis during the pupa stage is way more dramatic than most people realize.
Okay, you've got me intrigued. I have a feeling it's not just a simple makeover happening in there.
You are absolutely right. It's not simple at all. What happens is the pupa releases enzymes that basically digest almost all of its own body.
Wait, what? It dissolves itself?
Essentially, yes.
Like some kind of self-inflicted demolition derby happening inside that seemingly still chrysalis?
Precisely. And what's left is this nutrient-rich goo. It's made up of cells called imaginal discs, which are basically blueprints for the adult butterfly's body parts.
So from this goo, a magnificent butterfly emerges. That's intense.
It is a pretty radical transformation.
I'm curious, does anything survive this meltdown?
Well, scientists believe the brain doesn't completely turn to goo, and what's even more fascinating is that they think butterflies might actually retain some memories from their time as caterpillars.
Really? Even after all that? That's mind-blowing.
It really makes you think about the nature of memory, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, from goo to dot cubes. Let's talk about the wombat and its uniquely shaped droppings.
Ah, yes, the wombat and its cubic poo. It's a fact that always gets a chuckle, but it's a genuinely intriguing biological puzzle.
I know it's one of those things you hear and think, that can't be true. But it is, and it's amazing.
It is, and it baffled scientists for years. How do they do it? How do they produce these perfect little cubes?
Well, thankfully in 2019, a team of Australian and U.S. scientists finally cracked the code.
Oh, tell me more.
They found that the shape is due to a combination of their incredibly long intestines, about 10 times the length of their body, and special muscular contractions within those intestines.
So it's like a built-in cube-making machine.
Exactly. As the waste moves through, it gets molded into those characteristic cubes.
Amazing. But why go through all that trouble to make square poo? There must be a reason.
There is. Wombats use these cubes to mark their territory. The flat sides prevent them from rolling away, so they can place them strategically, like on rocks or logs, as a way of communicating with other wombats.
It's like leaving little messages for their neighbors.
Exactly. And you know what's even funnier? The study that figured this out won an Ig Nobel Prize in Physics in 2019. The prize was given for research that makes you laugh, then think.
How fitting.
I know, right? Okay, let's move from the ground to the air and talk about a bird with truly exceptional eyesight, the pigeon.
Pigeons, often overlooked and underestimated, but they have some amazing visual abilities.
They do. For starters, they have an incredibly wide field of vision, 320 degrees, without even turning their heads.
That's almost like seeing in a complete circle. It's incredible spatial awareness.
I know. And it gets even better. They can see ultraviolet light, which is invisible to us humans.
It's like they're experiencing a whole other dimension of color that we can't even perceive.
And this amazing eyesight isn't just for show. It's actually been used in some really practical ways.
Like in search and rescue missions, for example.
Right. Project Sea Hunt by the U.S. Coast Guard back in the 70s and 80s.
That's the one. The Coast Guard trained pigeons to help spot targets from helicopters, and the results were incredible.
Incredible is an understatement. They had a 90% success rate.
90%. That's phenomenal.
It is. And the human rescue crew.
They were only successful less than 40% of the time. The pigeons were more than twice as effective.
So what made these feathered heroes so good at spotting things?
Scientists think it's a combination of their wide field of vision and their natural scanning behavior. They're just really good at quickly covering large areas, much more efficiently than humans.
The humble pigeon, a search and rescue superstar.
Ah.
Who would have thought? Okay, we've talked about sloths holding their breath for a surprisingly long time. But let's zoom out now and talk about some other animals that can stay underwater for extended periods.
It's a fascinating area of animal adaptation. While the sloth's 40 minutes is impressive for a land mammal, the underwater world has some true champions of breath holding.
I bet. So who are some of these underwater endurance athletes?
Well, first, let's set the stage. The human world record for breath holding is around 24 minutes, and we have something called the mammalian dive reflex that helps us conserve oxygen underwater.
Right, that makes sense. But I'm guessing animals that live in water have taken this to a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely. Take turtles, for example.
Oh.
Some freshwater turtles can hibernate underwater for incredibly long periods during the winter.
I didn't know that. How do they breathe?
Well, some species can actually absorb a small amount of oxygen through their rear end.
Through their rear end, you're kidding.
Nope, it's called cloacal respiration.
But breathing turtles. Wow. Nature never ceases to amaze me.
It's pretty wild. And then there are sea turtles. They don't do the cloacal respiration thing, but a sleeping sea turtle can hold its breath for up to 7 hours.
7 hours. Seriously.
Seriously. And loggerhead turtles, for instance, will voluntarily forage underwater for around 40 minutes.
That's still a pretty long time.
It is. But if they're held underwater and not in distress, they can potentially survive on a single breath for around 10 hours.
10 hours, that's almost half a day.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So what about marine mammals? What are their breath-holding superpowers like?
No, they're in a league of their own. But before we get into that, it's important to remember that ectotherms, like turtles, which rely on external heat sources, have different oxygen needs than endotherms, like mammals, which generate their own body heat. Endotherms need more oxygen, which makes the breath-holding feats of marine mammals even more impressive.
Got it. So who are the top contenders in the marine mammal world?
The current champion is Cuvier's beaked whale. They're the deepest diving mammals, and they can hold their breath for an average of 67 minutes.
67 minutes. That's longer than a typical TV show.
It is. But one recorded dive lasted a staggering 138 minutes. That's over 2 hours.
2 hours. Are you serious? That's just mind-boggling.
It is. Before Cuvier's beaked whale took the top spot, the northern elephant seal was the record holder with a breath hold of 119 minutes.
Wow, so they're all up there.
They are. And then there's the sperm whale, which can stay submerged for around 90 minutes.
It's incredible how they can endure those pressures and the lack of oxygen for so long.
It really is. They have a bunch of adaptations that help them thrive in these extreme environments.
Like what?
Well, they can drastically slow their heart rates, redirect blood flow away from their extremities and towards their vital organs, and they have special oxygen-binding proteins in their muscles that allow them to store way more oxygen than land mammals.
It's like they're custom built for deep-sea diving.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered some seriously unbelievable animal talents today.
We have. From the sloth's surprising breath-holding abilities, which puts some dolphins to shame, to the caterpillar's goo-filled metamorphosis, the wombat's perfectly cubed poo, and the pigeon's search and rescue skills, it's been quite a journey.
It really shows just how diverse and amazing the animal kingdom is.
It does. Each species has its own unique set of adaptations that helps it survive and thrive in its environment.
And it makes you wonder, what other incredible abilities are out there that we haven't discovered yet? What other secrets are waiting to be uncovered?
That's the beauty of science, isn't it? There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to be amazed by.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
And never underestimate the wonders of the animal kingdom. Who knows what other mind-blowing discoveries are just around the corner.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.